Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. Mike, one of the senior developers at 11th Hour Games, held his normal Friday Q&A live stream on Twitch, which means I get to bring you Dev Chat 37. And this Dev Chat is focused on legendaries and dungeons, and he was swamped with questions. So I did my best because he was a little all over the place, trying to grab the most pertinent information for 084, which we are getting on Friday. Now, before we get to that, I've been saying at the beginning of all my videos, I'm hoping today is the day during the holiday season, the season of giving, that I have earned your subscription. If you have not yet subscribed to Action RPG, I'm hoping today is the day I've earned it and you make the decision to push that little red button. That's all I'm gonna say. Only if I deserve it, I'd really appreciate it. As always, I will share my thoughts. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below. Here we go. First question couldn't be more simple. Mike, do you need a key to enter the new dungeon for 084?
And yes, you will need a key to enter the dungeon. It is not just open to any mere mortal who wanders past. Must be earned the entrance into the dungeon.
Key required. Continuing with dungeons, right now I'm going to allow Mike to answer 5 questions in a row. Mike, go.
Are the dungeon keys found in monoliths? They can be. And they're different from other keys. Yes, they are different from other keys. When is the earliest we can access the dungeon? This dungeon's lowest level, I believe, is 55.
He corrects this later. It's actually 50. Keep going.
I could be wrong about that. I think that's where this dungeon starts. Will it be available in campaign, or we need to hit empowered models? You can do it in campaign. You will need a key for it, and that key will not drop before the dungeon starts. So you won't be like leveling and find a key and then be able to go into the dungeon. You'll find the key on subsequent character, or on like your first character that goes through, and then be able to put that key in your stash and grab that key onto a low level character. And as it levels, you can get to the dungeon then and use that key on there. So it's you can use it for leveling, but it will not be on the first character through. So alternate characters. This is why I was saying, the phrase I used was, dungeons will be able to augment the leveling process for alternate characters.
It's really interesting because I brought that up on my last dev chat when he mentioned that. And this is how they're getting away. This is how they're going to work through I've played the campaign 100 times, you know, the Path of Exile problem, where I'm bored of the campaign. I just want to jump straight to monoliths. Once you've played through it once and now you have that key and you start another character, you can actually go through the dungeon, which jumps you ahead in the story, and you're still going to get the passives and the idle slots, so you can level that character but not have to do the campaign. Switching gears to the new crafting system and a new rune, the Rune of Ascendance. Listen to this, and I put it on the screen for you.
Do uniques created by Rune of Ascendance have a chance for legendary potential? Oh, good question. I think so. Crap. I knew there was going to be one that I didn't know the answer to. Let's see if Drasoki's awake.
To save Mike time, the new Rune of Ascendance, you're going to be able to put it in and create unique items. Is it going to have forging potential? After Mike does a little bit of research live on stream, the answer is yes. I'm in the dungeon. We're running through it. I hit the boss and then I die. Mike, what happens?
We have to start again. You start again. It's one and done, dead, you're out. But it's really not that long either. So the biggest thing you're losing out of that is the key.
One chance, don't die. Switching over to uniques and legendary potential. Mike, if I push a lot of corruption, so I'm doing runs that are level 100 and I'm doing 300 plus corruption, is that going to help me with finding legendary potential uniques?
The only thing, here, let me just go to the FAQ for a second here.
It's in a very official answer he's going to give.
What exactly affects the amount of legendary potential that a unique item gets? Being in a higher level zone is the only thing that you can do to increase the chances of getting legendary potential on an item that drops. So given a unique item that is dropping, the only thing that affects the amount of legendary potential that that item gets is the level of the zone you're in. If a certain zone has a higher chance to drop a specific unique that you're looking for, and is a couple levels lower than an alternate zone that you have access to, it's probably better to farm the one with more of that specific unique drop. This might not always be true, but don't expect to frequently find even 3 legendary uniques in a level 100 zone. High potential is very rare. So what this means is corruption does not affect it.
If you are hunting uniques for legendary potential, corruption does nothing. Mike, how long does it take to run a dungeon?
I would say, depends on how good you are at it, how good your build is, all sorts of things. Roughly 10 minutes, I'm gonna guess. Maybe, well, I think we just extended it actually. It's still a little bit in flux. We actually made some pretty heavy changes to it based on CT feedback just this week. So it might have gotten a little bit longer, but not much. It's definitely a shorter experience. It's bite-sized content. It's I would say longer than an Echo, more similar to like 2 or 3 Echoes.
Sometimes you can run an Echo in a minute, 2 minutes if you know the route. Now, obviously, it's going to be randomly generated, so you are going to have to hit the right path the first time. But 3 Echoes to run a dungeon, that is very, very quick. As you're aware, 11th Hour Games has dropped a dev blog for legendaries, and during a little video parts showing a legendary being created inside the Eternity Cache, a lot of eagle-eyed people noticed this image you see in the middle of the screen. In the UI, there is a D key. And we want to know, Mike, what is that key?
That is a new ability slot. So I don't know if you guys remember, I've talked frequently about how when we're designing boss fights and we're designing mechanics for just zones in general, the only thing that we can really guarantee that every single player can do is move and attack. We can't guarantee they have a movement ability, we can't guarantee that they can stun things, or they can apply ailments, or anything like that. Move and attack is the only thing we can guarantee they can do. Well, in order to give us a little bit more freedom in our puzzle design, in our boss design, things like that, we have now, in the dungeon, you get a new ability specific to that dungeon. So this is the only dungeon that has this ability, it's the only place you have this ability, everyone gets this ability, so now we can assume that you have access to this ability, because you do. And so we can design mechanics around it as well. And by default, the hotkey for it is D.
Now, as the stream progresses, and I mean probably like 90 minutes later, somebody finally asks, but what does it do? And Mike chuckles for a minute and he goes, I was waiting for somebody to ask what the D key actually does. And it comes to find out that it will actually change the era that you are in during the dungeon. So you could change the time while you were playing through it. Last but not least, I'm going to let Mike read this last question about hidden game sounds. He told us to not forget, so I figured I should put it in this dev chat as just a video record for the future. As always, Mike, thank you so much for continuing to do your Friday live streams. The community truly appreciates it. Everybody out there, I want to know your opinion. I know I made a video on legendaries already, but as we continue to find out more information about them, find out about dungeons, I want to know if you are excited for 084 and the direction that 11th Hour Games is taking last Epoch. So let me know in the comment section below. I'm sure you've heard by now that I've officially started to Twitch, streaming on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, having so much fun with the ARPG community. As of right now, I am only playing last Epoch, and we are preparing for 084 right now. I made 15 build guides for the last update, and right now we have 20. First link in the description if you'd like to go there and support me on Twitch. If you haven't had a chance to join the official Action RPG Discord, please do so. We're now over 1,200 members, great conversations every day. The idea is to create a gaming community that could jump from game to game together. so you never start the server alone. Link for that Discord is also in the description. Lots of good information in the description, including all 15 of my build guides. All right, Mike, thank you as always. Take it away.
Should implement hidden game sounds that happen when you create a legendary with specific uniques and certain affixes. I even clipped a good sound for you to use, or the classic spicy would work too. So not for this patch, and maybe never, but there's a possibility you might want to remember that comment.
I cannot do that.
Like a long time from now. I definitely don't have anything that I'm planning long term, and we've definitely never joked about it. And half the time the things we joke about never turn into realities either.